These tiny abstract landscapes are my favorite mix of freedom and structure. A bigger grid, taped off squares, and total permission to follow my own curiosity. No plan, just paint, a little collage, and total experimentation.
Okay, these are 2 pages of 12 by 12 inch acrylic paper. Paper for acrylic paint is essentially a mixed media paper. I will link to it in the description, as well as this 1/4 inch masking tape, which is the purple lines. I am adding some gloss medium over those tape lines to make sure I seal those edges so that I will not have any bleed through underneath the tape. This is my tape pro tip. I highly recommend you take it and use it and love it because it will solve all of your tape problems. One other thing that gloss medium does, which is kind of fun, that I particularly like, is as I'm applying this Payne's Gray, because it's a transparent color, you can see where some places it's much darker than other places. The places where it's darker, there is no gloss medium. Places where it's lighter, that's where the gloss medium acts more like a glaze than, really absorbing into the paper, because it can't absorb into the paper because there's gloss medium there. So it instantly gives me 2 different ways that paint reacts, which again, I happen to like. Some people don't like it. If you want something to be a very uniform color situation, you will not enjoy it. But in that case, you could either not use gloss medium at all or gloss medium over the entire page, not just where the tape is. And then you'll get an equal application of that paint. I've mixed it with some Celadon, the Titan Green Pale that I love from Golden, to get a darker than Celadon, much lighter than Payne's Gray, that navy color that I like. Sprayed some water. It didn't really work out so well to take off any of the paint, but in a couple little areas it worked, so it is what it is. This is yellow ochre. I thought, why not go bold? You might as well, right? I'm applying it with a roll of paper towels. Do it however you want. I already used the color shaper a few times, so I want to do something different to apply it. And I don't even remember who the first person I saw doing this was. Maybe was it Jody King? Maybe Nicholas Wilton? I'm not sure. I saw it someplace and I was like, I want to try that. That looks pretty fun. It does not soak through all layers of the paper towel as you might think. So you are not ruining your entire roll of paper towels. You're just going through a layer. And I had a bit more success with the water splatter there. It's hard to see here, but I'm really going for horizontal movement. I want these to be small little landscapes once I take all the tape off and cut them up. So I'm looking for horizontal movement across the pages, across each of the tiny 8 pages. This was a really fun packing piece of cardboard that I got, and I instantly squirreled it away because I knew I wanted to do something with a stamp here. And those are really giving me it's like a bridge, or it's power lines, or it's something, but it's very structural. And I like that against all of the non-straight lines that I have. This is a white China marker or a grease pencil. Just trying to bring in some lighter highlights here. There's nothing that needs to be done in any of these squares. This is all experimentation. This is all me going, I wonder what if I did X. I wonder what would happen if I did Y. And because this is not a real place, these are not meant to be literal or representational landscapes in any way, shape, or form, I can do whatever I want. And I love that. Art is very free. It's very fun and playful. And it's also great for right? I Sometimes it feels like you don't have a whole lot of control in your real life, but then you can go be the maestro of the page and whatever you want to do with the paint, and you're in complete creative control. And now you can really see more of the water splatters and how it resists the paint sticking. I love getting those little dots. I'm using my finger here to apply this. Again, I'm looking for different ways to apply paints to these 8 squares so that it's not just one tool the whole time. I should probably do it again a different time. Maybe one of my experiments should be using one tool the entire time to see how many different ways I can apply it with the same exact tool. Perhaps that's my next challenge. I tend to find myself using the same tools and reaching for the same tools or reaching for the same colors. So when I notice that I'm doing that, I really try to be intentional about switching things up. It's great to have tools that you lean on. It is great to have, a comfort level with each thing. And it's a good thing to remember to switch it up. Now, this is tissue paper that came in some shoes that my husband bought for a Black Friday sale. And bless him, he is on board with my collage habits. He came over before he threw out the packaging and said, "Hey, you want to use this for collage?" I was like, "Absolutely, I do." So it's a grid, but it's a grid that is skewed and it looks almost like, fabric that has been bunched and pulled in different directions. So this project in large part was an excuse to use these collage papers. It wasn't too long ago when he would have been like, "Please don't save the packaging. Please just let me throw this out. Let me recycle it and get it out of the house." And I'd be like, "No, let me use it." So I'm very thankful that he is recognized and now enables my paper hoarding habits. Oh, goodness. So I'm generally still working in a horizontal way. You don't have to. That's just what I'm choosing to do. I did put the one piece vertically. And I'm keeping this simple. This is not anything really intricate other than intentionally trying to pick different sized pieces to use. I'm using all paints, a little bit of China marker, and one type of collage paper for this entire project. And there's still a ton of movement happening across these little 8 squares. And it's kind of fun. It's like a, landscape party. I just used an X-Acto knife to cut through the collage pieces because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to rip them off when I pulled off the tape. And I did get a little cocky with my tape application here. Because I have been doing lots of watercolor and taking tape off of watercolor paper, I got pretty cocky with I know how tape works now, so this is not going to stick. And then it all stuck. So I don't know if it's the paper that I used or the tape that I used, because it's all artist tape that I used, so it shouldn't stick. And it didn't stick to my watercolor paper. So I guess I have to blame the paper or me. I mean, it could easily be me. I'm not sure why it would differ from one day to the next. So this took entirely too long to take the paper off. The tape off. But how fun is it when the tape comes off and you see those crisp edges? Now, I did get my Neocolor crayons out. I did not use them, so it's just a tease in this moment. Sorry about that. I want to keep you on your toes. And for those of you thinking, why is she painting again? She should have kept the tape on for that. You would be correct. However, I did not do that. I took the tape off and then I didn't feel like taping it up again. So, alas, here we are. I'm using my random super damaged brush that has been left in water and treated terribly for way too long, but now it has this wonderful random application that I enjoy. Most of what I'm doing here is making some small changes, and the majority of what I'm doing since I pulled the tape off is really just making sure that the collage paper is pushed back a bit. So it's not just floating on the top as if I just stuck it on. I'm trying to build in some more layering and let it feel grounded and like it belongs there. So just integrating. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm integrating it in so it feels more settled. And overall, I'm really happy with how these are looking. I like the different marks. I like the different movements. I'm cutting them apart so that I can see what they look like as their own individual selves. And this is such a great size because I think that there probably are frames that are matted to about 5 inches. And this would be just a great size to put into like an 8 by 10 inch frame, or I guess you could go even larger, right? For high drama, make it a huge mat. But these are totally frameable. These are totally giftable. It's a really easy size to do a lot of things with. Now that I'm working on each square on its own, I am investing in some more tape to protect the little border that there is. Because I'm going to be glazing. I'm using a wet paper towel here or a baby wipe. Having water with the cloth allows me to wipe on the color and wipe it right off. So it leaves behind just a little bit of that color, like an echo. So Payne's Gray is a very dark color. That's what I started out with, right? It is a dark navy blue, but it's a transparent dark navy blue. So if I add a little bit of water, wipe it on, wipe it off, it will then kind of tint the paper and the other layers of paint where I apply it, but it will still remain transparent. In some cases, it remains too transparent, which is what I was dealing with here. I kept wanting it to be darker and it wasn't. So sometimes you have to build up that layer slowly, and sometimes you just need to switch tools. Palette knife helped me a lot more. And the best part about abstract landscapes is I don't have to know what this is. Right, first of all, there's a big twisty graph paper mountain or something here. Don't have to explain that. Also, I don't need to explain anything about what I'm doing. I mean, let's be honest, that's the best thing about art in general. I don't want to have to explain myself. Even when I try to explain myself, in words, it doesn't always work. That's what I talk to other artists about, and we just say, like, that's why we do painting. That's why we do things visually so we don't have to talk about it. So regardless, this could be a mountain in the clouds. It could be a whole bunch of other things, and I don't have to explain it, and you don't have to understand it. You'll either like it or you don't like it, and the same is true for me. One of my favorite things about all of this is it's a grand experiment. I probably say this too often, but I feel like everyone needs to hear it, that one of the best parts about being an artist, one of the things that I think is a defining characteristic of an artist, is that you're willing to try things that might not work. If you're sure it's going to work, it might be more of like a I don't know, like a paint by number situation. It's going to work. If you're going to do a craft that gives you directions to every single part, it's going to work out. I say that, but there's many things like those Pinterest crafts that end up being wildly inaccurate. So maybe that's not true. But in general, if you're willing to try something that might not work, it's because it hasn't been fully explored or fully explored by you. So if you're taking a chance and you're doing exploration and you're playing, that's where the magic is. That's where sometimes you stumble upon things that work. Sometimes you are very diligent and intentional about doing the things that you are interested in doing, and they work out. And sometimes they don't. And if you're going to fail, or if your idea is going to fail, you might as well really go for it and really have something to talk about. That's just me. Side note, kind of a different thing also, but when I was dating and single, I feel like the mediocre dates were fine and totally not memorable. The best dates I ever had were the ones that were really great or absolutely horrible, because those are the best ones too, that I was like on the date, I'd be like, I cannot wait to call my friend when I get home and tell her about how horrible this is. Not like tragically horrible, but hilarious, comedically horrible, that like they're so bad that as it's happening, you're like, this is actually already funny because it's so bad. Anyway, I digress. Back to art. So these tiny little paintings I think are pretty cool. You can get a lot of movement, you can get a lot of mood, you can get a lot of magic. I'm so alliterative today. And they're just fun to do. So today I used a combination of Payne's Gray, Titan Green Pale, Yellow Ochre, and White. What color palette should I use next time? List off a few colors. Maybe it'll make its appearance in my next video.